In this video, I'm going to be talking about will Aurora Cannabis go out of business like a lot of people think it's going to, and I'm going to be giving an ACB stock analysis using technicals and fundamentals. So if you're interested in that, please keep watching. Now, before we really get into this, I do want to point out I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my experiences and opinions with you guys as I have found some success within the markets with trading and investing in the last 3 years, but I am not an expert trader or investor. If you enjoy my content, please gently smash the like button as it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on those post notifications so you never miss an upload. Alright, let's get right into this. So currently ACB stock is sitting at a market cap of 634 million. They're having an earnings report actually tomorrow, so that'll be interesting to see how the stock reacts to that. Lately, the stock really hasn't been doing too well. It's down 10% today, and recently they were forced into doing a reverse stock split actually on May 11th at a 12-to-1 ratio. And the reason for this is because their stock price traded below $1 for 8 days straight on the New York Stock Exchange. So instead of getting kicked off the exchange, they decided to do a reverse split. So therefore, if you had 120 shares at $1 each, you would now have 12 shares at $10 each. So really the value of your investment or trade stays the same, but the amount of shares goes down as the share price has increased by 12 times. Right now, the technicals are looking very bearish. We've been in a downtrend since March of 2019. And the all-time high for the stock was around $12 to $13, but since the reverse stock split, it's now more between $140 to $150. And I wish I could say that their technicals are getting better, but to be honest, it could easily continue following as we just did have a MACD cross paired with a 9 and 20 exponential moving average cross, which is obviously quite bearish, and overall the trend doesn't look so good. You have a continued bearish signal from the parabolic saw, and most likely we will continue down this path unless the overall cannabis industry starts moving again like it did back in 2017 and 2018, as honestly a lot of people compare cannabis stocks to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that rose very quickly, creating a massive bubble that eventually popped, and since then we haven't been able to actually get back above some major resistance points, and it's going to take a lot of momentum and volume to really get back where we were. And additionally, the potential for a major stock market crash and recession would definitely not be good for Aurora Cannabis and pretty much any other stock for that matter. As we know, in a recession or market crash, stocks are very volatile and do not perform like they normally would. And most of the time, they're going to go down significantly during these times, no matter what those sales, profits, assets, or liabilities are standing at. In the short term, I would definitely say not to invest or even trade ACB stock right now. Unless you know how to short the stock and make money off it falling, then obviously you can do that, but there's a lot of risks that come with that also. Now, the RSI is definitely oversold right now, but when you're in a bear market or a bear trend, RSI really isn't the best indicator to look at, and that's due to the fact that just because something is oversold does not mean it's a good buying time, right? Yes, when something gets very oversold, it will most likely bounce at some point, but that bounce isn't always a very significant bounce that's going to get it out of the bear market and into a more bull trend. So as a trader, I'm looking for confirmation that we're going into a more bull trend, or even as an investor, when I invest in something, I don't want to get in when it's still falling. I either want to get in at the lowest point I possibly can, which is obviously very hard to do because nobody can 100% accurately predict the markets, which is why I would rather wait till we get confirmation from a moving average cross paired with a strong MACD cross. Now, those are daily candles. I highly recommend that if you're investing for the long term, you look at the weekly and monthly candles, but let's say you're just trading it for a day, you should definitely take a look at the 4-hour and the 30-minute candles. For example, I like to start off with the daily candles, then move to the 4 hours. And if we look at the 4 hours right now, it's very bearish. Just broke below the moving average with a MACD cross, looking like the RSI could go even lower than this. And the parabolic saw is obviously bearish too. Now, if we go to 30 minutes to see exactly what it's doing, if we break above this moving average paired with a MACD cross, that means we could actually move up a little bit, but the overall trend is bearish at the moment by looking at the daily candles and the 4-hour candles. And then if you really want to get a sense of the overall trend, you can look at weekly candles. And on the weekly candles, we're not looking that great because we did have a MACD cross, which is a bullish sign, but it was not paired with a moving average cross. So it was pretty much a failed attempt. And we are definitely overbought. But if we don't start getting past some of the major resistance around $10 to $20 a share, it's going to be very hard for the stock to recover and start moving up significantly like it once did. Now, just because a stock price is falling does not mean a company is going out of business, because there's lots of companies that still make huge profits, but those stocks may be declining. Unfortunately, that's not really the case with Aurora Cannabis, because for the last year to 2 years, it's really suffered in terms of sales, profits, and overall growth within its industry. Before you invest in any stock, it's really important to look at the fundamentals behind the companies. For example, their products, leadership, and overall financials, which include assets, liabilities, sales, profits, profit margins, right? All that very interesting and important stuff. Now, looking at Aurora Cannabis, we can see that 2019 was really not a good year. They did about $247 million in revenue, which was a major increase. However, they lost $290 million. So they actually lost more money than they brought in, which is obviously not good at all. And then in 2018, those sales were $55 million and they somehow profited $71 million, which was definitely a good year for them and was when their stock price was really taking off. And then in 2017, they managed to do $18 million in revenue. However, they did lose about $13 million. And then 2016, they only did about $1 million in sales and they lost $5 million. But you have to understand that this company and a lot of other companies within its industry really haven't been around too long. So they're still dealing with tons of different growth problems, which has obviously greatly affected their sales and profits because, as you can see, they're pretty volatile and they're not really following a clear trend here. Now, they do have a Q1 earnings report happening actually tomorrow, so that will be interesting to see. They will honestly most likely miss their target earnings per share, which does make sense because they were forced to close all their retail locations down in Canada because of the illness that's going on, which is obviously going to bring down their sales quite a bit. However, they're still doing online sales, which is great because consumption is definitely on the rise since people are always at home right now. And if they need those products, they can just order them online, which is definitely good for Aurora Cannabis. And it's probably the only thing that's keeping their business alive right now. As you can see, Q4 of 2019 was not very good at all. They missed their earnings per share goal by $1.12, which is definitely very big for a company of its size. If we look at the assets, they have about $5.5 billion in assets and about $1.1 billion in liabilities. However, their cash on hand is very low. It's around 100 to 200 million. So that's going to be very difficult to work with, especially with everything that's going on right now. So that's actually forced them to lay off about 500 employees at the moment, which were making a lot of money. So that would definitely help them keep some cash on hand, but they're going to have to think of more creative ways to save money so they can stay alive and stay in business. Now, do I think they're going to go out of business? That's really difficult to predict because the cannabis industry is so volatile in terms of those sales, revenues, profit margins, right? It's constantly changing. So it's definitely not going to be easy for Aurora Cannabis to stay alive. But since 2019, their profit margins have actually been growing, which is good to see. However, they are still losing money as of now just because of the mismanagement going on with their financials. And Aurora Cannabis is not the only company suffering right now, right? A lot of the top cannabis stocks and companies are really suffering because they have been forced to close down their stores, which has obviously had a huge negative impact on the overall company and brand growth and those sales and overall profits. To be honest, I think this company will stay alive, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, but it's not going to be easy for them, and they're going to have to think of new ways of bringing in income, especially during everything that's going on right now, which has obviously shown them that a significant portion of their business can be taken away very quickly. So they're going to have to find ways to bring in revenue and profits from other areas of their business. I don't think their financials are awful, as they do have more assets than liabilities. Their profit margins aren't not too bad, but they need to improve their current cash on hand and they need to bring up the overall net income, because last year was a very bad year for them and they lost a huge amount of money. Hopefully that does not happen again this year, as many people believe that cannabis stocks and companies would do very well in 2020 and 2021. So hopefully they're still on track to do that, as I would really like to see some major growth from this company and some other cannabis companies that I've had my eye on for quite a while. So hopefully you enjoyed this fundamental and technical analysis of ACB, as I think this company definitely has a lot of obstacles within its way, but it could definitely overcome those obstacles and hopefully continue growing its brand in the future. If you would like to invest or trade any stocks commission free, I would recommend a platform called Wealthsimple Trade. It's a very easy to use app that you can just download on your iOS or Android device, and you can start buying and selling thousands of stocks and ETFs completely commission free. Now you might say, well, there's tons of other brokers that already do this. However, in Canada, there's currently no other way that you can buy and sell stocks for free. So Wealthsimple is a really good option for Canadians out there, and you can sign up very easily. There's no fees to deposit or withdraw, which is great, and you can start trading pretty much right away. Now, if you are in the US and you already use Webull or Robinhood, those are definitely great platforms, but I do recommend you trying this out because it's new, it's very easy and simple to use, and I think you might enjoy how simple it is to use. So if you do want to sign up, there will be a link below, and if you use my link to sign up and deposit over $100, we will both receive $5 completely free. So it will really help support me and this channel so I can keep pumping out awesome content for you guys. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and turn on those post notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, you can follow my Instagram at JacksonSummers111. I post all types of motivational and interesting content there, and you'll be alerted anytime a new video comes out. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day and peace.